criminal justice, healing, education. Let's awaken the people. Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Holly Cisa. I am the founder of Morning Mimosas, but you guys should know that by now. And as you guys know, Morning Mimosas values human life, criminal justice, healing, and education for the Black and minority communities with a note that we love everybody. Alrighty, everyone. So before we get started, you guys know I like to do some little housekeeping tools before we start our days. So let's go ahead and start. As you guys know that I love Ganelle's Crafts. She created this beautiful flower crown in honor of Morning Mimosas. So here's a little treat for you guys. If you guys order from Ganelle's Crafts, you guys mention Morning Mimosas, you guys will get 10% off your entire order. Okay? So head over to Instagram. Check out Ganelle's Crafts on Instagram. And if you mention Morning Mimosas, you will get 10% off your entire order. Guys, I absolutely adore Ganelle's Crafts. This flower crown just makes me feel so beautiful. So just head over there and shop with them. And then another one that is an amazing product here in Denver, Colorado is Imuna Soaps and Essentials. Guys, if you guys use the Morning Mimosas code MM23 at immunosoaps.com, you guys will receive 5% off. Who doesn't want a little percentage off, right? We all want to save some money and then also use great products. So head over to immunosoaps.com, use our code MM23 to get 5% off. And remember, must be a minimum purchase of $7. So guys, today we are going to be talking about something that is really, really big in our community. And when I say big, it's because it's a big issue that nobody talks about. So, before we get started, today we're going to be talking about creating generational wealth with life insurance and just creating generational wealth in general. And our next guest, Ms. Palmer, is a huge asset to this topic. So, before we start, let's give her the proper Morning Mimosas welcome with this. Welcome,
Hi.
Ms. Palmer. Hello, hello. So grateful to have you back on Morning Mimosas. We needed you to come back on here so you can educate not only just me, but this community that needs to know more about this subject. Because a lot of people don't know. So that's why they don't do. So, welcome, Ms.
Right.
Palmer.
And then when we do know, we have to start doing, executing. So, yeah. Thank you for
That too.
having me again. I can go on and on and on about this subject anytime. Anytime I could talk about it over and over again, because we have to just keep drilling the back and bringing it back home if we want to do better, have better in our communities. We just have to start picking up little things that we can actually do and adjust and start to do better to change the outcomes for us and our families. And is little things, is little things.
Seriously. So, as as she stated, it's just the little things that we need to get started to make sure that we're doing better. So today, guys, right, we're talking about generational wealth, not just with life insurance, but generational wealth in general. Ms. Palmer, let's get this topic started. Why is it that, especially in the minority communities, that life insurance is so taboo? I know some people think that it may be like affordability or I might not get accepted because of my health issues. What is it? Can you please tell us?
I think traditionally life insurance has gotten a bad rap in our communities because of lack of knowledge and just old ways, right? And people just stick on old ways and what something their grandma or me mom or great grandma told them and things of that nature. when I'm out and I'm talking to people about life insurance, they say all types of stuff. I've had people tell me before all they thought of whenever they hear life insurance is the Malcolm X movie. If anybody has ever seen the Malcolm X movie, I was like, what are you talking about? I watched Malcolm X years ago. I probably was a teenager, right? Probably haven't watched the whole thing straight through, so I don't remember everything. But they were saying something about Malcolm X's father got killed or whatever. The white man came in, killed him, strapped him to the railroad track, killed him. The mom had life insurance, but they wouldn't pay it out. They said he committed suicide or something like that. And but back in the day, of course, they could spend anything any way they wanted to spend it, they could pretty much do whatever to us back in the day or whatever. But times have changed.
Yes.
You do have legal recourse.
Yes.
Companies are not doing that anymore. We're not in the 50s and 40s and 60s when we wasn't allowed to sit at the counter and eat with the other people. Okay, so we're not
Okay.
thinking like that. We're not thinking like that anymore. Okay, so don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. But yeah, I get people that say all types of stuff to me as in terms of what just why they have a bad connotation of life insurance, if that, right? And then um some people just is just ignorance, really. They just
Right.
don't know, or they do know, but they still think something, off the wall or crazy that is an untruth wherever they picked it up or whatever. So yes, if you are sick and things of that nature, life insurance, we have to realize it's still a business, just like
Yes.
car insurance, right? So if you are sick and on the higher percentage of going to need to, get paid on this policy quickly, then of course they might deny you. They're going to deny you. You can't go once you already have high blood pressure, diabetes, you done got something amputated, da, 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 da. You're on the downward side, right? So probably they're not going to want to cover you. And can you see why? Because if you live for 10 months and you put $100 into $100,000 policy in 10 months and they have to pay out, all you paid in was $1,000, if I'm calculating right. All you paid in was like $1,000,
Yeah.
and now
Yep.
they got to pay you $100,000 on a policy that you only had 10 months because you were already sick.
Yeah.
The insurance companies are not going to make money. The insurance companies, we must remember, is still a company. Every company
Right.
is in business to make money. So you just have to do what makes sense, get the policy while you're young, while you're healthy, get the lowest rates. And the most important thing about life insurance is having it when you need it. That's the thing. We never know. We never know the time or the hour that we're going to leave here. So it's
That's
just
true.
important to have it when you need it. Because one
Absolutely.
thing, that's like your roof getting a leak or falling in on you. What people always say, things never happen when you prepared, right?
Okay.
That's
Right.
like having kids. People say you're never prepared to have kids. They just come when they come, right? So we just have to be ready when things happen, ready, planning your family's future. Because not only, like, I believe that just having a minimal coverage of life insurance for the life insurance to cover funeral expenses, your final expenses, is like bottom. Everybody, that should be universal. Everybody should have that. But when you start to get into thinking about how you're going to set your family up to have something to keep some money in the family and keep things going, that is when we're getting into different levels of life insurance. And there are different levels of life insurance where you can invest your money, well, put your money in a policy, and it earn you money. There's those levels, but you don't even have to do that. If that's not something you're interested in doing with your money, which I recommend you do, especially if you are putting your money in the bank and just sitting it there,
Right.
the life insurance could be earning you some interest on that money. I looked at my bank I looked at my bank this morning and I had like $14,000 in one account, and they sent me a dividend for the month, and it was only $3. So you're making like less than 1% interest on what you have sitting in your savings account, where you could put in a life insurance policy, and whatever the index market is performing at every month, that's the interest you get on it, and the interest compounds. So that's another thing. But if you're not ready for that, simply having life insurance on yourself, on your husband, on your kids, whatever, can set you up to keep some generational wealth in your family. We personally are really always starting behind. We're always starting behind. That's why we can
Yeah.
never get ahead. If every time somebody passes, you got to beg and go fund me and scrape up every money that everybody in your family did have saved, then
Yep.
y'all in the negative already. Life
Absolutely.
insurance, simply paying $100 or so a month, depending on age, health, and all that, y'all. Don't quote me on $100, but simply paying that a month for a peace of mind that when something happens, you're going to be able to bury your family with dignity without begging. And you're going to be able to leave somebody something. Your kids are not going to have to scrounge to keep the family house in the house
Yes.
in the family's name, because they lost it because they couldn't pay taxes, because they lost it because you still had a mortgage on it, and now they can't pay
Yep.
that mortgage. Like,
Yep.
it's just so many things that we just are overlooking that could easily save us and put us in a better financial position.
I absolutely agree. So actually, when we were talking backstage, I had told you a story about, a couple, and guys, here at Morning Mimosas, we keep it real. Um, so there was a couple that was murdered last month, um, and the husband was a drug dealer and the wife was a CNA. A GoFundMe was set up for the couple, even though the husband, who was a drug dealer, was flashing money all over social media. So my question to you, Ms. Palmer, is why is it that people, you know, end up, having these GoFundMe's, but are flashing Gucci, Louis, a Porsche outside, and but you don't have no money to bury yourself. Like I just get so confused by that. Please explain to the public why does society have that persona? Like I just don't get it.
I have the same question. I be wondering the same thing when I see this stuff happening for real. But I just think that in our society, we just want to floss and make ourselves look impressive to other people, but really we don't have our foundation laid. We're not standing on firm ground. We don't have our shit together. We don't have, just things in order if something ever happens to us. And the most arrogant thing that all of us do is to think that we have time, is to think that we have time. That's even some of us think that. Some of us never think about nothing's ever going to happen to us. But um, I've had people in my family pass. I had people close to me pass, same age as me, went to high school, been passed, younger than me pass, babies pass. So that tells me anything can happen at any time to anybody. You don't have to be old to die, basically.
That's true.
So
That's true.
we are just very arrogant in our thoughts to just think nothing is never going to happen to us and not be prepared. Especially if you have kids and you bringing kids into the world, it's your responsibility to help them be in a better position than you were in, I believe. So right.
Absolutely.
And who doesn't want their kids to be better off? People sitting up here buying their kids iPhones, buying their kids Benzes as soon as they get their license, buying, doing that and the third. And you say, oh, it's nothing wrong. I want my kids to have better than me. Okay, well, set them up to have some other shit better than you. Like, that stuff it doesn't matter. Do some stuff that matters. Like, oh man, it's just crazy. I just think that a lot of times people are young and flashy and not thinking about the stuff. But I do know when people see you with all that, and then you put your family need to do a GoFundMe for you, it's not looking good. People really don't want to, especially when you was flashing Gucci, Fendi, Louis, everything every day on your page. You was on vacation and da 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 da, da, and you don't have your stuff in order. People don't want to help.
It's absolutely sad. So we're gonna move into investing, right? Because we want to invest into our futures. That's also another way to create generational wealth. So we were also talking backstage about how, a lot of, young people, especially like rappers and stuff, when they become millionaires, they don't make the best choices.
Right.
I'm just gonna mention one, little Uzi Vert, when he put that little diamond in, in the middle of his forehead, that was like $24 million or something like that.
Was that real? Can you really get a diamond implanted in the middle of your forehead? That's crazy.
I, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like he has a few screws loose, but so do I. It's all good.
Mhm.
But just just doing things like that. Like, why don't people invest in more practical things like gold? Like, gold actually appreciates in value. Why do people spend things that depreciate
A
instead of
lot of
focusing on things?
a lot of times for us is ignorance. Pretty much is ignorance. We don't know. We haven't had anybody show us. We haven't had anybody take us under their wing, show us what we can do with this, that, and the third. Because literally, I'm gonna tell you something about uh, rappers and entertainers and all of that. Like athletes as well. Most of the time, it's just your everyday person from the hood. They made a catchy beat or a catchy song and made some
Yeah,
money, and it skyrocketed and it made them some money. But in their mind and they still the same person in the hood that they were before. So they didn't have an education on what to do with any money or invest in anything or anything before. They didn't have nothing to invest in anyway before. So probably nobody was having them conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just unfortunate they come into money fast, and they have no education on finances. A lot of athletes, that's why the NFL started making mandatory classes for the rookies, because a lot of people were, they were putting people in the league $1 million contracts, then they get injured and gotta retire or leave the league, and now they broke because you bought. Then and I heard Shaq even say it. He went out, bought his mama this car, his, I don't know if his dad, but his stepdad that raised him, this, that, and the third, whatever. He thought because he had this $1 million contract the first year was so much money, he bought all that stuff and didn't have no money left. Like, but one thing I know about our people is we're so unused to having money that a
yeah,
little bit of money looks like a lot. That's why even the smallest, when people die, if you, it's sickening. It's sickening to watch. When people die, the family will be fighting over the least little bit of money. If they had
yeah,
$500 in their account, your
yeah.
sisters and brother and mother is fighting over who's gonna get that $500. It's disgusting. It's
Very,
disgusting. So
very.
a lot of
Things like,
times, yeah, it's just so the lack of for so long, and it just makes people like, oh, like a crab in a barrel, like trying to get it. Like, so it's sickening. It really is. I just think that we just have typically historically been uneducated, and there's education out here, but if your mind is always in survival mode, you don't have time to learn. You got to get up and get it.
yeah, yeah. It's and but you know what it is too. But we also all have choices though. We all can make the
Absolutely.
choice to say, hey, I want to do better, so let me go get that education. Let me go get these resources to help me do better. I just don't understand, what is that phrase? If you know better, you do better. I just
If you
don't know why
I
people
love
don't
that
feel
phrase,
that.
if you know better you do better. But like I said, sometimes our mind is just so in the gutter and just so down and defeated, we're not even thinking of. I hear people like people that live in the projects and things of that nature that have been living in the projects for generations. The mom, the grandmom, the great grandmom, or the new child that the youngest one has had, and they've been living in the projects generationally because they don't see. I think nowadays people get to see more just because the days of the internet, I think that people get to see more of possibilities of what can be, and to get to, when you see more, it opens up your mind to different things, and something may drop a seed in your mind that, hey, if she can do it, I can do it, things of that nature. So I think that we are slowly getting some change, but it's just still so many of us that are so defeated, so in survival mode all the time, and just been beat down by life, that we just don't see that a change could ever really be possible. And think about it, if you never leave outside the hood, you only see hood shit. Therefore, it starts molding you. You start acting like it. You start acting like other people in the hood. If it's a harsh environment, you're going to become harsh because you got to survive. So it's just,
It's it's a
it,
lot,
yeah, it's deep for
but
us.
I know that we're able to do it. I mean, I'm just gonna mention this, like, and this is a tangent, but I have a point. We're so quick to like fight another person over another person's affection, right? We're so quick to go get these brand new shoes, right? We're so quick to do all these other things, but the things that matter, we put on the back burner.
Absolutely.
Maybe because I'm in a different place in my life, there's just certain things that I need to prioritize, so I don't.
You definitely have to, it's about priorities, and you definitely have to mature to a certain level. I've been like a grown person my whole life. I've been mature past my time my whole life. So it's definitely a level of maturity, and it's definitely a level of where you put temporary satisfaction after, people put temporary satisfaction ahead of making themselves good or better for later. So you'll go out and spend that money on something to say you got it. Maybe it make you feel good to have this brand new whatever this is on, when you could be invested in something that's going to pay you off better later for your family and help you get better, do better. Just because you're not seeing it right now doesn't mean it's not working. It's going to come in clutch later when you need it.
Right,
But a
right.
lot of people are just, they need the temporary gratification. They need it now. So, and one thing about it is, you can, it's a mindset. It's a mindset, and someone's mind has to be there. You could drill it into them all day, but until it clicks in their mind and they want better and they want to do better. Same thing to me with weight loss. People will ask you over and over again, what did you do to lose weight? How did you do that? Da, 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 da. What did you do? Like they want a miracle. They want you to tell them something that's a miracle is gonna help them like this. No,
Yeah. Mhm.
it's hard work and consistency that's going to get you there. It's not going to be instant gratification. You have to put in some work and wait for it to pay off. So it's a mindset that has to shift, a change of the mind.
I love it. Do you have anything else that you want to mention about generational wealth and life insurance? I really want people to grasp this concept here.
But y'all know me. I'm like,
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I'm an entrepreneur for years, but I'm an entrepreneur hustler, right? So I do what I got to do, right? And to make stuff happen. So I like to tell people, the insurance is all different levels. It's different levels of insurance. But one thing I do is know how to make some money from anything, right? You know how to make some money from anything. I tell people all the time, if there's someone in your family that you're going to be responsible for, if something were to happen, especially if you are the financially responsible person in your family, because a lot of us are those people for our families, and everybody's going to turn and look at you for whatever. If that is you and you know as people, I mean, if you have kids, then you already know. Um, if you know as people that you're going to have to be responsible for if something happened to them, or you're going to be the first person that your mama, whoever, is looking in your face because they think you got it, if bruh pass and ain't had no insurance, Whoever ain't got the money, they're gonna be looking at you because they think you got it, right? So I tell people all the time, get a policy on whoever that you might be responsible for and have to pay out some burial expenses if they pass, right? So get a policy on them, not only enough to bury them, but enough to stash you a little something for a come up. Not saying that, you know, you coming up off somebody passing, but if you love me, if you love me and we close enough that I have to pay to bury you, I should be able to get something to keep me good after you pass too. So if I gotta pay for your funeral and services, I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna get a little more too, so I could get something to start with. You know what I'm saying? If you got some kids and I'm the one in the family, they might be looking at me to help you them out. I need a little extra for that too. So if a funeral is $10,000, I got a 50, 60, $100,000 policy on you. I could do something. We're not starting behind. You see what I'm saying? So we're not starting in the hole already. So, at the very least, that's what I say do. That's how you can make some money on some insurance without getting the IUL where you're actually putting the money in for a return of interest on the money. So people like, oh, I don't want an IUL. You don't have to get an IUL to get some money. I know back in the day, plenty of people was racking up money from when people passed because they had insurance policies on them, and that will keep you. Grandma been having $10,000, $20,000 in the stash for the next person she gonna have to help bury. You know what I'm saying? From the last policy she got paid out on. And one thing that I've noticed is that my people who have ever had life insurance and had somebody pass and that life insurance paid out, they get life insurance. They go get life insurance policies on everybody because they know how it's a saving grace. They know how helpful it was, and it came in clutch, for all of that. And they just know the importance of it once they, seeing how it works. And you don't have to be, it's bad enough you're mourning and grieving your person or whoever or whatever, but to be stressed, having to put up GoFundMe's and people saying I seen them with a Gucci belt on, I ain't giving you nothing. Get your own stuff. We gotta get our stuff together. Stop waiting for somebody to come save us. Cause we paying Gucci and Fendi and Louis. They don't even want us wearing their shit. They don't even want our black asses in their stores. Y'all come in there acting all loud, ignorant, and crazy. Y'all scaring away the other customers. They don't even want you in there. But then you gonna need somebody to donate to you when you pass. That's hustling backwards. Stop hustling backwards.
Ooh, I felt that today. Yes, yes, Ms. Palmer, thank you so much. You came through. Now I know that you also quote life insurance. Is that only for Georgia, or do you do it for all
No,
50
I'm
states?
licensed all over. I'm licensed in many states. So just let me know what state you're in. I mean, a license is just a matter of inputting your information to that state to get licensed in that state. So it I can quote you in any state. If I'm not licensed in there, I can quote you and go get the license so you could get the policy. It's not, once you're licensed in one state, it's just about paying your fee to get licensed in the other. So once you license in your home state is no big deal. So I could quote in any state, but I am already licensed in I think about 10 states. But
Perfect.
it doesn't matter. I could quote you in any state.
Perfect. So, for our viewers who are interested in life insurance, please, please, please reach out to Miss Palmer so she can help you guys build that generational wealth. Because that's what's important, guys. We need to not move backwards, like she said. Let's be like Toyota, right? Let's move forward.
Moving
Okay.
forward.
Yes, ma'am. Once again, I want to say thank you so much for being on Morning Mimosas again. I will bring you back because the subject will need to be reiterated
Thank you.
again
Thank you.
and
Yes,
again
we're
and again.
always drilling. We always drilling this and bringing it back home because other communities have been taking advantage of this for years, getting insurance policies on as soon as the baby's 14 days old with a social security number, they getting the insurance policies on them, right? Why you think so many of them be unaliving their people? Because they got insurance on, they trying to get paid, right? Now I ain't telling nobody to go do that, because that's not what we do
Right.
traditionally in our community. We not hungry for money like that. Clearly we not hungry for money like that, because we would have been took advantage of getting the life insurance. So y'all leaving money on the table every day, leaving money on the table. But this is something that you do and you don't even have to think about. You could leave your kid $1 million policy simply by paying your life insurance every month on autopilot. You don't even have to think about it again. But if something happened to you, your child got $1 million.
Let's think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start to build that wealth, guys. Let's think smarter, not harder.
Right.
Okay. All right, guys. Once
And
again, if you
that's
guys have
another thing.
anything,
Let me say this. That's how people always, people say, when they work a job, the person that does the most work get paid the least. The people that sit in the offices and do nothing make the most money.
sure
it's
do.
it's, it's kind of universal. We got to use our brains to make us some money, not our physical being. We can only work, we can only get so many jobs, it's only so many hours in a day. We will never be able to make so much money in that using our physical. We got to start using our mind to see how we can use some other avenues to make money that don't require us physically touching the stuff every day.
I love that. I love that. And I hope you guys listen to the message today. We're not knocking nobody for using GoFundMe's, but we are trying to get y'all out of that mentality. You guys need to invest in yourselves. That's what the biggest, if anything that y'all take away from this episode today is invest in yourself, invest in your family. Okay, it's time for that. I was reading a statistic that said 70% of generational wealth doesn't even make it to the second generation. So that's
Exactly.
a so let's change that percentage. That percentage is pretty high. So once again, thank you, Ms. Palmer. You guys go reach out to her. Get life insurance, guys. It's time. It's time. It's time. We live in a crazy world as well, so it's more needed more now than ever.
Right,
So
you never know.
never know. But once again, thank you, Ms. Palmer. We'll be bringing you back. You guys, this is Morning Mimosas, where we value human life, criminal justice, healing, and education for the Black and minority communities with a note that we love everybody. Until next time.
Thank you.